My name is Tuan Fung, and I am the managing partner of VCI Legal, which is a corporate and investment law firm. We're handling a number of different matter, legal issues, with a focus on corporate and corporate dispute. Among those, commercial and investment dispute also. As a matter of fact, what we learned from the case is somewhat troubling. From what we have, which is the constitution of the company, the registration, the business license of the company, as well as the list of shareholder in line with the law in Singapore and the law in Vietnam, which is the place where the company operates. So what we can observe and what we can share with you is that by legal document, the owner of the Beholders project is Unius, which is a company that owns both tangible and intangible assets together with Beholders, which is the creation, which is a product created by Unius. And according to the Constitution, Hawkins is a 65% owner of the company, and Ronald Lee is a sole managing director of the company itself. In turn, also Ronald Lee is the CEO of the Hawkins company, and he owns more than 62% of the equity share of the company. So from those legal documents and basis, we can safely conclude that the company of Unius is the owner and the sole owner so far, according to the agreement between shareholder, between the member of the company that we observe is the only owner is a company, and there is no thing changed. There is no change of ownership or anything that happened so far. And according to the law, according to the charter or the shareholder agreement, as well as the constitution of the company, any change in company ownership or company control need to be discussed first by the members meeting and the vote of the shareholder, and obviously a majority vote would be the one that decide ultimately what should be and what should not be taking place in the operation of the company in all of the important matters of the company. That is what we believe are the law and the regulation applicable for the two companies, as well as the Beholders as a project itself. So Beholders, again, is agreed between shareholder that belongs to the company of Unius itself, and the company is controlled by the majority shareholder. And here we have a majority of 65% officially recognized since the beginning of the incorporation of the company, and that had not been changed. Hawkins is the owner, and Ronald Lee is the sole managing director that controls Hawkins as well as Unius. That is the agreement, and there is no legal document that changes that. Indeed, what we observe is several issue and matter which we believe is the wrong fraud act that was committed out of ignorance of certain employee, and should I say ex-employee of Unius, because of the ignorance of himself. We're not sure about the involvement of the others, but we believe there could be. What happened is that the company control of the domain name as well as the websites, the relevant websites that are under control of the technical director was hijacked and was controlled unofficially and illegally, with a notice issued by somebody that don't even manage or don't even dare to put their name under the announcement of changing of the top manager, being the CEO and the CFO. So those are the observation and as well as the fact that we can observe that can lead to the conclusion that there is something seriously wrong there's a breach of law, there's a violation of the company constitution, as well as the ignorant, as well, and bypassing of the best practice in corporate governance. That's what we observed so far, as well as the misappropriation, as well, and illegal taking over of the company business system, being the software, being the website, being the domain name, as well as the private keys, which belongs to the company and controlled by 4 different authorized signatures. 2 of that have been compromised and put under only, one technical director. And therefore, we believe that is a wrongful act that should be stopped immediately, regardless what is the dispute between the shareholder, what is the dispute between the employee and the employer. Well, by law, no one should defame any other. If you have a private issue, if you have a problem with somebody conduct or act that you believe is wrong, is against the law, then you have all the right, you have all the opportunity to bring it up front, to discuss among the company itself, or bring it to the court of law. Okay, that's number one. However, in order to do so, you need to come up with relevant fact, relevant evidence that prove the violation itself. So you should respect the privacy, you should respect the dignity of the people, and you need to give her or him an opportunity to defend themselves under the law, under code of conduct of the company, if there is such an official accusation. Now, what we observed so far is only rumors and stories or status or content on the internet, on social network, on Facebook, and I think essentially that's what the nature of the defamation content, and that by law I believe is wrong and likely illegal, because it is in breach of the people's privacy, that is in violation of relevant regulation that is applicable for the content against the code of conduct of the social network themselves, as well as the law of the land, being Vietnam, Singapore, or any other country in the world. So those are the acts that should not be tolerated, should not be accepted, and should not be considered official in any way. Well, I believe, although I'm not an expert, I'm not a technical expert in this particular area, we believe that nowadays there's more than enough investigative technique, as well as forensic investigation science is developed well, and there are more than enough tools and methodology in order to look into the detail who did what and what evidence that are left behind. So yes, there are means, there are tools, there are professional way of conducting investigation in full detail, and that shouldn't be too hard. In terms of legal consequences, we are talking about essentially two fronts. One is from the commercial or civil front, which is the damage that are caused, and there would be claimable damage, there would be a penalty to be applied for wrongdoing, for violation of privacy, for taking over of the company, for property damages, and so on and so forth. On the criminal front, there would be likely a penalty to be applied onto the crime that are conducted on the cyberspace or in reality, in terms of the appropriation of company assets, as well as illegal taking over of the company business system. There are more than enough legal tool and legal penalty to be applied to that, and that I believe the company are intent to go to the full force of law in order to claim back their ownership, their control, as well as to bring the violator towards the court of law.